Hey guys, this is CEO Ty with Educationally Speaking Center for Learning, and we are the bridge that connects the child to the curriculum. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day and that you're staying safe. So, I wanted to come on and, like the other day, do a lesson with you, a reading lesson, just to show you how to model and go through a reading passage to with your child to annotate and ask questions regarding the passage. So I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. And the title of this passage is Three Ways to Learn About Consumer Power. Now, before we even go into the passage or we start reading, make sure that you have your pencil handy or your child has their pencil handy as well as a highlighter. CEO Ty, why do we need these things? Because again, we want to make sure that your child is annotating the text. You want to make sure that they are highlighting. What are they going to highlight? They're highlighting important information. They are highlighting vocabulary words that they are not familiar with. They may highlight the main idea, the setting, but again, you want to make sure that these tools are handy, your pencil and a highlighter, so that they will be able to highlight, and then the pencil they're using to take notes in the text. So again, the text is about 3 ways to learn about consumer power. So you ask your child, first of all, do we know what being a consumer is? And you make predictions about the text. And before you even start reading the text, you want to talk about what the text is. What is a consumer? And so you go over that with your child. If they don't understand what it is, then you tell them what a consumer is. And so what I like to do is use the context clues. So I look at consumer and the word power. So the consumer, one who purchases or one who buys. And then power, it gives me the ability to do something. And so when you make it simple like that, or you break it down like that, your children are able to understand. So it's 3 ways to learn about consumer power. So what we're going to do in this passage is look at 3 ways that we have power as a consumer in order to purchase things. And then you can talk about, before you even go into the passage, talk about some ways. Once you discuss what a consumer is, I can go to the store and I can purchase things. I have the ability or the power to be able to get something. So you talk about these things, and then you might ask your child, what are some ways that we have power or we can exercise our power? In addition to that, you can make it relatable. How is my power during this time affecting businesses? So when you look at me, I'm a consumer. And so we are in, this pandemic. And so you can relate it to, so it can be real world. You can relate it to the pandemic and then show how being a consumer and you have the power or the ability to pour into different businesses or pull your money away from businesses. All right. So let's look at the passage. And again, if you're on Common Lit, it gives you pair text. And so the text there, you're able to pair to go along with the text that I'm reading, related media. If you're on here, it's great for you to be able to look at these videos with your child before you start talking about the text, or after you talk about the text and introduce the text. And then it has the parent guide. All right, so let's go back to the text, and you can print this out or you can do it on the computer. I'm going to make the font bigger. This is a 3rd grade passage. You can, again, make the font size bigger. You can do a read aloud with this. That is what I love, because they have the read aloud. And you can also highlight. So if you did not print this off, you can highlight the passage. So let's go through, what is consumer power? And again, if you've already talked about this with your child, you can answer this again. Think about your favorite store, toy, or food. You can stop right here. Ask your child, what is your favorite toy or food? You're building that conversation. The ability to decide what you and your family buy is called consumer power, okay? And then again, you ask, why is consumer power important? All right. By buying certain products instead of others, you can make a positive difference in the world. And then you can talk about what are some products that we buy in the house, and then they can name the products that you purchase. Every time you have a say in which products you buy, you are exercising your buying power. I'm sorry, I skipped over this. How can you become more conscious as a consumer? Then you ask your child, and here's the time to talk about vocabulary. What does conscious mean? Conscious. And before they even talk about it, you talk about or give them some scenarios or give them more context clues if they can't figure out what the word is. Conscious means aware. And so this is a stopping point, and they give you a question. How can you become a more conscious consumer? And so you continue to read. And this is a point where they highlight. So I can go right here on this tool and I can highlight. Every time you have a say in which products you buy, you are exercising your buying power. What does exercising mean? Does that mean I'm riding on a bike? What does exercising mean here? It is at this point where you can stop and talk about words that have multiple meanings, okay? Exercising in one sense is not going to mean exercising in another. How are we exercising our rights or our buying power? What does this mean in this text? All right. And so you talk about it and then you go to it and you say using. Exercise means to use. I can highlight that again. All right. So remember, if you go back to the text, it talks about 3 ways to learn about consumer power. You want to make sure you highlight or you talk about the 3 ways. All right. So choose products with less packaging. Once upon a time, the world believed that extra packaging was a sign of quality and importance. We now know that packaging is mostly waste. Next time you look at a product, look at the package it comes in. Does a single pen really need all of that packaging? Does your new toy really need that huge box? Thinking about these questions can help us cut down on waste. Now, let's talk about this from another perspective. I'm an entrepreneur. And when you think about packaging, we also call that branding. And so where the author may think that the packaging may be too much for a product, someone else, the CEO, may think if I brand my product in this way, it will appeal to buyers and therefore it will cause them to buy my products. What is one thing that you can talk about with your child? Entrepreneurship. So you can tie this in and bring this in. Do you think that it is important for CEOs, or companies to package their products in a certain way? How do you feel about packaging? For me, I can bring this home and talk about my business. Let's think about mommy's business. Think about the ways that I package my business or I brand my business on social media, videos, so on and so forth. How do you think that appeals to the customer, all right, or my consumer base? And so these are some things that you can talk about with your child to bring in that real world experience. So they're like, oh, this is relatable. I can relate to this. Okay. As a marketing major, this is actually very interesting. Yes, I was looking at it like side eye, but yes, it's a very interesting article. But yet and still, again, you can bring it in and look at it in a different way because I want to make sure packaging to me is everything. And while my merchandise may not be in a big box, it is, however, important that the aesthetics, when you talk about color and words, the font, I sit and I think about everything. So for me, that is important. And so when I go to the store, and you can talk about this and have this discussion with your child, when I go to the store to look at things, I'm going to pick up, and maybe it's because I'm a woman, girly girl stuff, but I'm going to pick up things that are cute versus things that are practical. And then I think about the practicality behind what I'm purchasing. And I know that's crazy, but yeah. But anyway, you can discuss all of this. And so by FSC Paper Products, the Forest Stewardship Council is an organization that makes sure wood and paper products come from forests that are responsibly managed. It is easy to check for the FSC label or pencils and paper. By looking for this label, you are exercising your buying power. You have a choice in what you buy and where your products come from. Okay, so this is talking about maybe you talk about being conscious or aware. So maybe you don't want to purchase products that were like when you think about eggs, you want to make sure that the chickens were cage free. So you want to purchase from farms versus the supermarket, and you just want to make sure that all of your stuff, is just organic. So these are the things that you want to think about. And so number two, and this moves into the source. Do you know where your food comes from? So this is a great idea to take your child to tie this in. You can take your child to a farm, or you can take them to a store, a health food store, and watch somebody actually juice what they're going to drink, to tie this in. How about your favorite toys? Your favorite snacks don't come from the aisles of the grocery store. Your favorite toys don't come from Target or Toys R Us. Learning about where our products really come from can help us make decisions. Again, you can discuss manufacturing. I can bring this back to business because I can talk about my reading boxes. They don't actually come from Educationally Speaking, but they come from a manufacturer. So we can tie that in and discuss that as well. Support local food producers. And again, here's the tab. What is a producer? A person or company that makes or grows something. A lot of trucks are needed every day to move vegetables and fruits from farms to grocery stores. This is a big problem. This is where you can come in and say, it is important for us to support people, our local people, because if we don't support our local and small businesses, then how will they be able to sustain in the economy, especially now? These trucks release carbon dioxide and other harmful gases into the air. That is why you should purchase food items from local producers. Where is local? Okay, local means right here. And you can talk about, so what is your local neighborhood? Where do you live? Okay, what do we consider local? Look for farmers markets or grocery stores that carry local products. Believe in your power. You have the power to change the neighborhood and the world you live in. The choices you make as a consumer can make a difference. They can change the future of our planet for the better. A golden rule, whether it's choosing eco-friendly products. And what is an eco-friendly product? Here's something again, products that are better for the environment. At the store or writing letters to local politicians about topics that matter to you, your voice makes a difference. Then you can talk to your child. Why is it important to use your voice? How can using your voice make a difference? In addition to, before you even go into the questions, this can be a writing piece. We just read the article. Let's talk about your voice as a consumer. What are some ways that you can use your voice to make a difference and to encourage, or to talk about buying power or consuming power? All right. So that's a writing piece for you. So again, this is something simple. You have your annotation tool that I showed you. You have your guiding questions that you can finish. So if you turn on the guiding reading mode, it asks questions throughout the passage. Your assessment questions, it talks about the main idea, supporting details. It talks about the subheadings, which are very important when you're reading a text like this, and just ask about what the FSC label does. And so all of these things are very important. Then it has a discussion at the end. Think about something you and your family members recently brought. And so this is a writing piece, a great writing piece. You can talk about it orally, or you can choose to write. Where did you buy it? How do you think it got to that place? And where do you think it came before that? Okay. So this is something simple for you to, again, go through with your child, something just easy for you to do. It took us, 13 minutes, takes about 15 minutes. A simple lesson. And I love this because it's an informational text. Informational text is the best text to teach reading. And this is not just about reading. This is also social studies. When you talk about consumer and your power and your rights, it ties into social studies. So you can bring in your social studies lesson as well. I will upload this to my YouTube channel. This will be on the page for you to review. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me at educatespeak@gmail.com. Let me stop the screen. You can email me at educatespeak@gmail.com. I'll actually download this passage inside of our group. And you can visit our website, educationallyspeaking.net, and make sure you follow across our social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram on Educationally Speaking. Make sure you share this video as well. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope that you have a winning day. Bye.